Alright, we are here today to make char-cloth. That's going to be on the agenda for today's video. I'll explain it to you as we go. Here's our starting materials that we're going to use. So we have knife, ferro rod, fire puck, and like I said, I was talking about in the last video about a trivet. So this here is a trivet. This is what we're going to use to make. And this will go right here. We're going to set that just on top of that, like that. Or however, we'll figure out a way to get it on there to stay. Straighten that out. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our fire started in here. And once the fire gets started, we'll put this on. You can see that there's a hole inside there. Now inside here we have our cotton material, which is denim. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 9 pieces of denim, and you just kind of lightly lay them inside. I wouldn't go more than 9 pieces of denim for this, for making char-cloth, because if it gets too packed, your char-cloth might not cook properly, and then you'll have uncooked product. I sound like Walter White there. Excuse me. Okay, now we're going to light up our fire. Drop a spark down on there. Okay, got our spark dropped. Take this. Like I said the other day too, these fire pucks will burn for about a good 25 minutes. We'll just set that back down inside the trivet neatly. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll get our char-cloth on top here ready to go. Now, the generalization of char-cloth is to make an easy type of material to lay a quick spark down on, and you can light it if you need to in an emergency situation on top of a bundle of tinder, or you'd use it as just like anything to light fires, or even a barbecue even for that matter. Here, I'll set that on top there. We'll let that cook for about 20 or so minutes. You'll notice that there's going to be a pilot light that might come shooting out of here when the gases start coming off of the denim material. It'll create a bit of a pilot light to start up there. And usually once that goes out, and once the smoke stops coming out of that little hole, usually the char-cloth is good to go. It's done its process. Pyrolysis is the name of the process used when making char-cloth. When the material inside the denim is exposed to high heat in an oxygen deprived setting, which would be inside of this tin right here, the process changes to char-cloth when the gases leave the material. So like I said, the gases will be coming out of here once the process starts to take place. And definitely when making char-cloth, you don't want to open the can right after it's done, right after you're done making it, for the very simple reason being the char-cloth can ignite, and then once the process starts on char-cloth, you cannot stop it. So there's a couple of ways you can go about fixing that situation. You can take Char-Cloth and you can bury it in the ground inside the tin and just kind of bury it in the ground and put some dirt over top of it until it cools. Or you can put it inside of a jar. I've heard and seen of people putting it inside of just a simple mason jar and just screwing the lid on tight and letting it cool inside of the mason jar, because it deprives the Char-Cloth of any kind of air that you don't want, or you will ruin your Char-Cloth. I've made that mistake last year. I had some Char-Cloth going and I didn't realize that it hadn't fully settled yet, and I opened it and all my Char-Cloth burned. So I had to redo an entirely new set of Char-Cloths to make here. So yeah, it wasn't very fun. While that's cooking, we're just going to take a look over here. Just take a quick little peek over here. And we have some, what do we got here? We have some deer friends over here. There's one up there, and there's one right over there, right there. You can see him over there. I'll try to zoom in for a better shot. There we go. And there's one right up there on the hill, so you can see his backside. This is a cool little spot down here. This is one of my favorite. It's one of the better bushcrafting spots where I can come and bushcraft. And I'm no professional cameraman by any means, so if you see some camera angles or whatever that are kind of wonky, I haven't perfected it. I'll get better at it, I'm sure, in time, and we'll get to it. So after this is finished cooking, or after the process is finished from turning it into Char-Cloth, what I will do is give a demonstration with the ferro rod, and I'll show you how a piece of the Char-Cloth will work. Alright, I'll bring you guys back when the pilot light comes up over here, is what I call it. I think a lot of people call it that as well, and that's the gases burning off. We'll come back to that in just a brief couple of minutes here. And here we'll just get a little footage of our dear friends over here. Hey guys. Yeah, right over there. Just chilling out in this nice little natural wooded area in the city. Beautiful little spot. When you're down here, it does not feel like you're in the city at all. It feels like you're in the woods far, far away, which to me is a bonus. I don't care too much for the city. I think I've stated that in other videos as well, but I try to get out to the campgrounds and country as much as I can in the summertime, out for drives and camps and hikes and stuff, because being in town, yeah. Anyway, we'll get back to you when the Char-Cloth is getting ready to start to smoke. Alright, so like I said, we have smoke that's starting to come out of the top of the box, out of that little hole, which means that our process has begun. And that word is pyrolysis. That is the process that is taking place inside of this tin. There we go. Now you can see the pilot light that I had mentioned earlier, right here. There's a little pilot light coming out of the top there. That's the process of the gases burning off of the denim material. Pyrolysis, it's called. And like I mentioned in my other video, these fire pucks here, they will last up to 25 minutes, 30 minutes depending. I've had them go as far as 35 minutes before. This process generally takes about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on the heat source. I've done them on propane burners where it only took about 15 minutes, but this one may take a little bit longer. And also, I mean, don't be afraid to adjust your flame source either. You can move them over there a little bit there, back and forth depending on where the flames are going, right? It's not super breezy here today, and down here it's usually pretty calm. Yeah, it takes some time. I'll come back to you when the process has gotten a little bit further on. And there we go, we have our little pilot light back out here, and it's lit up as the gases are being released out of the denim material that we chose to use for our Char-Cloth. Just that dancing little light there in the middle. I have my hand here because I was the wind had picked up a little bit through here and it was blowing the flames around, so it wasn't concentrated on the bottom of the can. But it looks like it's starting to pick up speed cooking. So this trivet, you put your excuse me, your fire pucks underneath the trivet. You can put a pot on there, a cup. Usually the stainless steel cups or the steel cups, whatever that's used to boil water, whatever brand you use. I don't have a specific brand. As I said, I've come out to the woods here and bushcrafted and done some bushcrafting things. Made a chair and some stuff like that. Made a spoon out here. Yeah, and I'll cook some tea there in the wintertime on top of the trivet. It only takes maybe 10 minutes or whatever to boil the water, and then I usually just use some water out of a water bottle to put the flame out, and then I just let the puck dry. And the next time I come back out, because it's wax, like I had showed you guys in the last video, it doesn't absorb water at all. Like even this here cardboard stuff it'll dry, and then you just kind of open it up a little bit and drop a spark down on her next time you're going to use it, and boom, good to go. You can still see that smoke coming out of the hole in the center, and our little pilot light up there. So process is still ongoing. I will bring you guys back in just a few minutes. On these lids here, you want to make sure that I don't know if I said it already, but yeah, you want to make sure that the lid is firmly closed. Like, it doesn't have to be sealed with anything, it just has to be firmly closed so that the Char-Cloth cannot oxygenate after the process has ended. Right on time, the train. He's down the hill and across another street and down at the bottom of another hill, but you might hear him back there. I do play the guitar, and what I was thinking the other day is I think I'm going to start writing my own songs, and I'm just going to start playing my own music for a little bit in between, instead of pausing it and coming back, just add a little bit of flavor to the video. And then when you guys watch these videos, you can let me know what you think down in the comments below, or, you know, like I always say, don't forget to Hit like and subscribe if you like my video. I don't do these YouTube videos to make any kind of profit. I do them just purely out of educational purposes and curiosity. It's why I'm called Curious Hiker. I'll bring you back here in a few minutes. All right, here we are back. I'm almost 100% sure the process has ended here on the Char-Cloth. I am very sure that all the Char-Cloth has been turned. It's just smoking a very little bit now, which really isn't too much. I will let it go for another couple of minutes, and we'll see how they turn out. We'll let them cool, of course, for a little while, and we'll see how they turned out. I'm pretty sure they've turned out good. It's the exact same process I've used before. This trivet, I found it at a local, I guess a local used tool store, and it was just a trivet, like 3 things that were put together. I didn't have to put this together. It was already like that, and it just folds together. So I don't know what kind of tool it was used for or what the purpose of it is. I'm not really too sure. I'm not a carpenter, but works for me. And in here, so these stands here, these legs can be adjusted to fit bigger fire pucks, or like I said before, I was using tuna cans with the material inside of the tuna can, and just using that as, instead of having to use these cups here, and then I was just reusing the tuna cans after. So I probably will continue to use tuna cans in the future. These were ones that I had made with other people previously, just to have in store. I have probably about 60 or 70 of them made, but they've worked for the last 2 summers. I haven't had to make any more. I am going to do a video with you guys. I'll do a video on making these fire pucks, and just to show you the simplicity of it and how easy it is to make them. It's super easy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that Char-Cloth off there. I think that's cooked long enough, a proportionate amount of time. Here, we're just going to set this down here. We're going to let it cool. I'm going to bring my trivet up here, where I'm going to just pour some water on the fire puck to put it out. It's not going to be happy at me when I do that. It's gonna, that's just to show you guys what it does when you pour water on it. It will crackle like that, because I mean, it's super hot wax and stuff, but alright, so I guess we're good on that. What I'll do is I'll bring you guys back when the Char-Cloth is ready to come out of the tin and for the demonstration. Okay, so here we are back. The process is entirely finished. What I'm about to do is I'm going to open the box and we'll have a look inside. And we'll see if the Char-Cloth finished its job here, which it's cool. As long as it's cool enough to touch, it's usually pretty finished. Yeah, it gets pretty black on your fingers, so some of you might want to use gloves. I mean, I really don't. It's all good. I'm gonna open the Char-Cloth, and well, that turned out really well. So that there is the Char-Cloth. You can see it. That's the denim material that we had. I could take it out and show it closer to the camera here. See, it's not like wicked brittle where it's just going to break all apart. This was done perfectly here. So there's Char-Cloth. You can see it pretty good there. The other side as well. And now I'll give a quick demonstration on how Char-Cloth is used. Yeah, they all turned out really well. What I'll do is I'll use a smaller piece here. And in the 1600s and 1700s, they would also, lots of people would carry around a little box like this, and it's as a personal tinder box. So in case you had to stop and light a fire somewhere, you always had some kind of little tinder, be it milkweed or some kind of dry brush or any type of vegetation that's dry that you could get a spark onto to light. So this here, just gonna lay the Char-Cloth down, and we're gonna drop a spark down on that, and I'll show you guys how that works here. So again, you want to take your ferro rod, which I have here, and my oversized bushcrafting knife, and we're gonna put a spark on that. There, that's all you need. And what'll happen there is the process will start. So you take that, and you can see how it's burning there like that, and you can drop that into a pile of tinder. You can blow on it a bit, even to get it going. And then the idea is you just drop that inside your tinder bundle, blow on it, or if you have a bellows, an extendable or collapsible bellows. I have one that I use for fires and things, and yeah, you just use your bellows to blow into the tinder pile, and within a couple of seconds or even a couple of minutes, depending on how dry your tinder is and how you have your tinder bundle set up, like I do the bird's nest type of tinder bundles, and that'll create a spark, and that'll create a fire in any kind of survival situation. Although if this stuff here gets wet, it's not going to be useful at all. Then you'd have to let it dry. It's not like anything wax coated. I did some makeup remover pads and Vaseline, and you double boil the Vaseline, and you take the makeup removal pads, and you can use them, you soak them in the Vaseline, and then you let them dry, and they'll get hardish sort of, and then you kind of just flake up the surface, and just another fire starter. But super incredibly cheap. All the stuff you can get at any kind of store that's dollar, for sure. Vaseline and makeup removal pads for sure. Yeah, and that'll burn for quite some time. It burns really slow until you blow on it, and then once you start blowing on it, it's going to burn a little bit faster through. I'll drop another spark on it. Yeah, that's bright, but yeah. Just shows you that no matter where you drop a spark, as long as the spark grabs it, you know, that'll turn into a fire just easily in your tinder pile. All right, everybody, well, thanks for watching. I think I'm going to conclude today's video on making Char-Cloth. It's a very fun process. It's good too if you have adult supervision to do a process like this, because it does involve the use of fire and flames, and knowing how to put out those fire pucks, and just don't be afraid of them when you're putting them out. They're not going to jump out at you. It just crackles really loud. So pyrolysis, that's the process that we've used today to make Char-Cloth. All right, everybody, take care until the next video. Ciao.